So welcome Divine Beings to a coaching video about from yesterday's session. Today is the 29th probably. 29th May, June, July. 29th of July 2025. I just bought an Apple Pencil, so this is going to be my first time kind of annotating what I traded yesterday. The goal of this coaching is to see what we can learn or what I can learn about my trades. I'm going to try to approach this from the Ken Long's kind of idea of how trading should be. That means I should be aligned with the market as much as I can, get out when I'm not. And let's see if my trades yesterday somehow corresponded with this methodology and where I can improve. So first, what we want to establish is that this opening here establishes the OR3, which is the opening range. This is something that Ken trades. So what actually happened was we had kind of a sideways quiet channel, then a huge gap up. This was an abnormal gap. That means that we have a greater than average chance of a range stat move, which is good. So that's the decision why I decided to trade it. It had a sniper pattern plus this abnormal gap made it a contender, and since I only trade one symbol, this was it. So there's the OR3. If we were trading, we would probably take an entry right around here when this bar breaks down. This kind of is a failure to fail further. Okay, that's good. Let's go down. So price then reverses, kind of goes along the VWAP, breaks up above the VWAP, then comes down. As we can see, the dragon kind of rolls over the RL10 or rolls over. So I think maybe if we would have been on the OR3, we would have maybe cut it at the VWAP for maybe about a 0.5 R loss. And then when price goes through the VWAP, the RL10 rolls over, the dragon rolls over, so maybe here would be like an entry short. And definitely here we would have been able to capture about like maybe 1R, at least to the downside, given that this is the R8, which is a risk box that I'm using. So probably right around here, that would be a 1R capture. Here, there's an idea of a 1, 2, 3 exit. If we were in the position, we have a we have a low. It's not exactly a 1, 2, 3 because this bar would have to make a higher high. It would have to break through, but we could take the skin of the dragon exit, which is right over here. So there's a possibility for about a 1R trade right over here. This is not part of our rule set. It's just something. But what we can see right now from this, if I take this all back, is that we now see a high, a low, and if we imagine back here under this hole, there is the low from where it opened and where it gapped up. So suddenly we are seeing this pattern where we have a low, a high, and a higher low. So this would also look like a kata to the top side. So here I remember putting some indication saying that this would maybe be an idea of an RLXD entry with the idea that this is just going to go. Also, what is important to note is that it's 16:30. That means we already have 1 hour. So this is pretty much the working low of the day. And if we imagine putting a range stat up here and saying, okay, this is the working low of the day, we are probably 1 R8 from the bottom, but we still have about 7 of those to the range stat. So we have a lot of moves, and so this entry makes a lot of sense to me. RLXD, we could think about it going long. Since this is still not one of our patterns, what was one of our patterns though is the collapsing dragon or the wiggle, because at this point we were talking about that we could be thinking about this go long. We could also think about this going short. The reason is that, again, we have a low, a high, a low, and now prices come, the RL10 is doing this. If it crashes, we have a high, a lower high, and this would be kind of the place where it would crash down. And we shouldn't be surprised if, let's say it would fail below this low of the day. Well, then we have a huge move that's possible to the downside, which is exactly the trade that I took. So here, price kind of goes around the Bollinger Band mean, intersects the price right over here. It kind of monkeys around and then just breaks through. So the breakthrough, you could be theoretically thinking of an entry right over here at the belly of the collapsing dragon. So there's an entry over here. We took the entry at the bottom of the RL10, which is here. Price immediately reverses back. I think Ken would probably take it at the Bollinger Band mean, so he would probably lose only about minus half an hour. My rule set does not allow for me to cut losses like that, but it's something to consider in the future. So there would probably be a cut here. And here, when we get out, for me, the reason why I entered here on the next, it could also be like a stop and reverse to the top. Hey, why not? Price, because the hypothesis of the trade is that like it's supposed to fail right now, and it didn't. It reversed, and also price goes back through the Bollinger Band mean. It hits the VWAP, so we could just have a long bias, which we do. But the reason why I got in the trade was because there was a WMB3 setup at this price level. That means that the MACD histogram, there were lower lows, and then there was an uptick, and it was oversold on the Williams percent R. I think it was like this bar, I think. So I already had a buy order set here. Probably should be drawing buy orders green. So yeah, so I had a buy order here and a sell order here. So I had this whole trade frame I had as a compound critical state, and I had it prepared. So when one of this breaks down, or when one of the entries, the collapsing dragon, goes and it fails, then I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll just take the green, take the trade up, and so I got in. Thinking about that in a clear mind, I think maybe it's better to wait for actually a real pattern, because I don't think, maybe the WMB3, it's maybe okay. Maybe it's not that bad. I'm not really sure. It's either okay, or I should be waiting for a Kata 2 entry, which is right around here somewhere. If we think about it, yeah, I think the Kata 2 entry is around here. The reason being, again, if I draw this, imagine we have a low back here where it gapped down up from. Here we have a high. So we have these higher lows. So when the PSAR flips, which is right over here somewhere, then we're waiting for the RL10 to go through the dragon, which is right around here. And I think it would probably be good, because as we can see, the Bollinger Band mean is sloping up, price goes through the VWAP, and so this looks also like a pretty good entry. So we got in a little bit earlier here on the WMB3, but you would have a Kata 2 entry right over here, and it kind of feels good. Price goes through the VWAP, Bollinger Band is up, everything sloping up. The dragon is probably, I should draw that orange. The dragon is moving up as well. So that looks like a really good and a cool entry. So there's our risk box standard. It moves up, and then starts to reverse here at this point right over here. I was at about 0.69 or 0.68 of an R win, and I moved my stop to no lose positive for 2 at 0.7. But given that I already lost minus 1 point R, I just decided to say, okay, I don't want to have the feeling of getting to 0.68 and then just letting it fall down to -1 and not catching anything. So I decided to kind of make a money management and just moved it not exactly to nil's position for 2, a little bit under, to compensate that it wasn't exactly at 0.7. And then 1 bar later, the price just crashes down. So I take a fraction, and it felt good. And immediately then what I saw was, okay, so I was expecting this from the low of the day here. If I drew a range stat somewhere up there, I was expecting this to go, and it didn't. It actually, if we can see, it didn't even penetrate this opening and the high of the day. So for that, that meant for me that I should have a downward bias, right? It had all this time to go and it didn't. So then I took the kata too short because we have a high, a low, a lower high. So this is kind of the move down. I have to work on my drawing. Please excuse that. It's something that I can work on. But so here I have a downward bias right over here, and I have a pattern, the kata too short, which means when the PSR flips, I'll take the breakout, and it goes a little bit, it reverses immediately. And I think Ken would probably just get out when price comes back, hits the Bollinger Band mean. I think that's a good idea to get out. Also, the VWAP, it kind of stalls at the VWAP, so maybe right around here. I get out when the PSAR flips. That's kind of like an indication that the trade is over. So I lose about 0.48 R right over here. I think using maybe Ken's ideology, it would probably be either a scratch or maybe I would lose minus 0.2, something like that. So there's probably some gain there. And then this last one was kind of an opportunity that I saw for the upside one last time because as we see, there was a high, a lower high, but also these are kind of like lower lows. I mean higher lows, I'm sorry. And when this moves, it moves more than 2R, which is for me kind of a signal versus noise. So I'm like, okay, so I have a low, I have a higher low, so maybe it's gonna like explode right over here. It only moved about 31% over range stat when it made an abnormal gap. So I was like, okay, maybe it still has, some kind of move up. So I try this entry right over here, and it fails. And again, I just wait for the PSAR flip. But I think maybe when it would, because I'm expecting this thing to go immediately. Probably should drop green. I'm expecting this thing to go immediately. It doesn't. It goes back into the Bollinger Band mean next to the VWAP. So maybe a pretty good exit would be right around here, where I'm just supposed to like cut it and just take the minus 0.5 loss. So all in all, really unfortunate that it didn't move a lot. Like I said, 0.31 of a range that doesn't give us a lot of room. But what I really like is I like this short. I really like it. I could have probably cut it better. So I think here maybe a 0.5 loss would have been okay. This entry, maybe with Ken's methodology, I could maybe get in a little bit earlier, maybe somewhere around here. Thinking about RLXD here, price goes above the Bollinger Band mean, maybe. Either way, there's probably like a 0.3 R, especially when I'm using the R8, and I could be using the R10, which is a little bit smaller of a risk box. So this is the ideal risk box or the minimal manageable risk box. I'm using a little bit of a bigger one. So there's probably a 0.3 R here. When the short doesn't work, we can just scratch it. So probably here we should have like about a 0, and here maybe about a minus 0.4. So all in all, I think optimally, if we would have traded using Ken's methodology and idea about just being really in tune with the market and cutting the losses even shorter than our rules allow, I think we would probably be around like minus 0.6 for the day. We were minus 0.23, which is fine. We're still learning, or I'm still learning, but there wasn't just any more moves. So today I'm just going to be trading another symbol. Hopefully there's going to be more moves, so there's going to be more trades. And looking back, I'm really not sure if there was any more room to improve. So these were my trades, right? And if Ken would be trading, I mean, I think he would take the OR3 entry right over here. It reverses, so maybe like a scratch. And I think when the RL10 rolls over, the dragon rolls over, I think an entry here would have been possible and at least get 1R. So maybe be positive for the day. Probably that would have been possible. Yeah, if you get out here and you want to go for this trade, and you would take the RLXG, maybe you would just again like cut it when it fails immediately. So I just very, very choppy and not too much. So I don't really think about it too much. I don't want to be hung up on these symbols that don't really move too much. So overall, I think I traded pretty well. I'm happy with all of my entries. I think they were okay. Just something to put on the back burner is just the exits should be, quicker uh, in time when my rules allow it. So thanks for watching. That was the kind of coach's eye for yesterday. So we'll see what we get to today. And thanks for watching and have a great day.